Reorganization of states. So let's know the meaning. Reorganization of states or redrawing of internal boundaries of Indian states was necessary because prior to 1947, the territories of India consisted of British Indian provinces and princely state. And you know the meaning why this reorganization of state is necessary. It is just because prior to 1947, that means prior to Indian independence, the territory of India consisted of British Indian provinces and princely states. The boundaries were drawn in haphazard manner. That means the boundaries were drawn in unplanned manner. There was above 500 Indian states which were merged before independence into a dozen units. The provinces were multilingual and multicultural. No heed was paid to linguistic or cultural cohesion. That means no attention was paid to linguistic or cultural unity. Next, with the introduction of the present constitution, the territories were divided into 4 categories. So let's see number 1. Part A states. So in Part A state there is Andhra, Assam, Bihar, Bombay, Madhya Pradesh, Madras, Orissa, Punjab, West provinces and West Bengal. And these were the former British Indian provinces. Next, Part B states. Let's see. Hyderabad, Jammu Kashmir, Madhya Bharat, Mysore, Patiala, Pepsu in the sense we have studied in integration, Patel scheme, that is Patiala and East Punjab State Union. That's what known as PEPSO. Next comes Rajasthan, Saurashtra, Travancore and Kochi. And they were princely states or chief commissioner provinces, where you have learned from Patel scheme in third point, integration into chief commissioner provinces. So this Part B states were known as princely states or chief commissioner provinces. Number C. Part C states. Ajmer, Bhopal, Coorg, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Kutch, Manipur, Tripura and Vindhya Pradesh. Number 4. Part D states, that is Andaman and Nicobar. So the states under Part C and D were ruled by the President with aid of Lieutenant Governor or Chief Commissioner. So for national consolidation and integration of the internal boundaries were not drawn. Hence, it was to be redrawn, taking linguistic and cultural plurality into consideration without affecting the unity of the nation. Let's see. Linguistic principle as basis for reorganization. The Motilal Nehru Committee report says if a province has to educate itself and do its daily work through the medium of its own language, it must necessarily be a linguistic area. Language as a role corresponds with a special variety of culture, tradition and literature. So here comes the importance. Language as a basis for reorganization is important because A. Language is closely related to culture and custom of people. B. Spread of education and literacy can occur only through medium of mother tongue. C. To a common man, democracy can be real only when politics and administration are conducted in his language. D. Linguistic states can provide education, administration and judicial activity in mother tongue. Therefore, it was assumed that free India would base its boundaries on linguistic principle. Listen carefully. Soon after independence, due to partition, political dislocation, law and order problem and Kashmir issue. So it was a need of the hour or time to consolidate or combine the linguistic states so that it may unleash or free and intensify or give a setup for regional and linguistic rivalries. Hence the matter was postponed. Next, the Linguistic Provinces Commission. So this commission is headed by Justice S. Kedar. So this commission, which was appointed by Constituent Assembly and the JVP committee. So this JVP committee consisting of Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So The Linguistic Provinces Commission, headed by Justice S. Kedar, which was appointed by the Constituent Assembly, and JVP Committee, consisting of Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah in 1948. So they advised against the creation of linguistic states for the time being, as may it threaten national unity. So this led to the popular movement, and long-time demand for separate Andhra state became strong. In 1952, a popular freedom fighter, Potti Sriramulu, remember the name? So in 1952, a popular freedom fighter, Potti Sriramulu, undertook fast unto death for the cause and expired after fasting for 58 days. Finally, the demand was conceded and the state of Andhra Pradesh came into existence in 1953. The success of Andhra encouraged others to agitate. To meet the demand, the government appointed State Reorganization Committee (SRC) in 1953. Next, let's learn about the State Reorganization Act of 1956. The State Reorganization Committee, just now we learned that the government appointed the State Reorganization Committee, that is SRC, in 1953. So the State Reorganization Committee was constituted in December 1953. With whom? With Justice Fazil Ali, K.M. Panikkar, and Hridayanath Kunzuru as members to examine the issue and recommend the principles for reorganization, keeping in the view the objectivity and indiscrimination. The Commission reported in 1955. The recommendations were discussed and debated, and finally the State Reorganization Bill 1956 was introduced in Parliament in April 1956. The State Reorganization Act was passed in November 1956, and the objective of the Act explains the states of India as they exist today have been formed largely as a result of historical accidents and circumstances, and hence there was a demand for reorganization of the component units of Indian Union on more rational basis after taking into account not only the growing importance of regional language but also financial and administrative consideration. So the main features of State Reorganization Act of 1956 are: number 1, abolishing the distinction between Part A, B, C and D states. Number 2, establishment of two categories of units, A, states and B, union territories. 3, the abolition of Raj Pramukh, as you have seen in the process of integration, was divided on the basis of threefold as per Patel's scale. So in second point, you have seen that grouping of small states, in that you have read that many small states group themselves to form a big state with the ruler of the most important one becoming the Raj Pramukh. So here in State Reorganization Act of 1956, and the third point is the abolition of Raj Pramukh. Number 4, the Act provided for creation of 14 states and 6 union territories. So let's see the list showing the 14 states and 6 union territories. So let's see the states: Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Mumbai, Jammu Kashmir, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Madras, Mysore, Orissa, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, South Bengal. The union territories are Delhi, Manipur, Andaman and Nicobar, Himachal Pradesh, Tripura, Lakshadweep, Minicoy Island. After 1956, the acceptance of the principles of linguistic states did not mean that all states immediately became linguistic. There was bilingual Bombay state consisting of Gujarati and Marathi speaking people. After a popular agitation, the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat were created in 1960. In Punjab also, there were two linguistic groups, Hindi speaking and Punjabi speaking. The Punjabi speaking people demanded a separate state. So the Sikh communalists led by Akali Dal and the Hindu communalists led by Bharatiya Jang Sangh used the linguistic issue to promote communal politics. The SRC, in the sense State Reorganization Committee, had also refused to accept the demand on the ground that it would not solve either the language or communal problem of Punjab. So after several powerful movements, finally in 1966, Punjab was divided into Punjab and Haryana. The details of different states and union territories created after 1956 are given below. Number 1. Bombay, Gujarat, Maharashtra in 1960, Punjab and Haryana in 1966, Nagaland in 1963, Himachal Pradesh 1971, Manipur 1972, Meghalaya 1972, Tripura 1972, Sikkim 1975, Arunachal Pradesh 1987, Mizoram 1987, Goa 1987, Chhattisgarh 2000, Uttarakhand 2000, Jharkhand 2000. Union territories. Number 1. Chandigarh 1966, Diu Daman in 1987, Pondicherry in 1962. At present, 29 states and 7 union territories are there in India. Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Sikkim, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal and Telangana. So these are the 29 states. And let's see the 7 union territories. Andaman and Nicobar, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Delhi NCT, that is what known as the National Capital Territory, Lakshadweep, Puducherry. Yet it is not the end of reorganization of states. Language alone did not remain the sole basis for reorganization of states. Regional culture and complaints of regional imbalance have led to demands for smaller states. Vidarbha in Maharashtra, Harit Pradesh in Uttar Pradesh, and Golkar land in West Bengal are demanding for statehood. The bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh is declared. Earlier, it was felt that linguistic states may foster separatism and thus weaken national unity. But linguistic state reorganization removed major source of grievance which could have led to decisive tendencies. It has only strengthened national unity. So here ends our chapter, Origin and Growth of Indian Political System. Students, please go through the map of India at independence.